Welcome everybody to Bliss Babes. I am here with my sexy bestie, Stephanie. I don't know where she is on the screen right now. We always get that messed up.
Just point every way. Yeah.
Yeah, I am yo girl Tammy. We are here with your pre-Valentine podcast, and this is our Valentine gift to you all. So you can prepare yourself for Valentine's Day, and wouldn't you like to know what that means? We are here with our new bestie, Amanda, otherwise known as the Kink Consultant on Instagram and Spotify. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, especially for like the pre-Valentine's Day episode.
Yeah.
I love love, in case that's not obvious. So I was excited to see the hearts in your background. And it's like, I'm not even, Valentine's Day isn't even like a huge deal for me. Like Halloween's actually my holiday, but I love all the hearts for Valentine's Day.
That's funny you said that. Halloween is my favorite too, but I do love and the hearts and the pink and yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But we are so excited to have you on our podcast, by the way. Like, thank you so much for joining us for our sexy Valentine's Day episode.
Thank you for having me. Sorry, I get really excited when
I love
just
it.
in
So
general.
do we.
Yeah, we're so lucky. If you guys haven't checked out her Instagram, and you may not have yet, it's so fun. And again, we just want to help provide some tips. You have time to buy your products and get prepared and make your Valentine's Day the best one yet and make your relationship closer and stronger.
That's a huge deal because I think that a lot of pressure is put on Valentine's Day, and it's like it does not need to be a high pressure thing. A few small things can make it better.
Absolutely. And yeah, if you're in a relationship or you're looking for a relationship or you're just being fabulous single, either way, Amanda can help you out with all of that.
I am
Yeah.
trying. That is my main aim in life is like for people to be having the best sex and relationships of their lives. And like best relationships doesn't always mean sex. Sometimes it just means like closeness and being seen, you know?
Yeah. So how did you get into kink consulting? Like, it's the burning question.
Okay, so I've been kinky. I always joke I was born kinky because from the age, oh, wait, PSA, we're starting with a PSA. There is a difference between a kink and a fetish. The word fetish has a terrible like name for it because people don't understand. Every time you hear the word fetish, something negative on TV is associated with a fetish. But a fetish simply means you needn't able to achieve orgasm. So, for example,
Okay.
I have never had an orgasm without thinking about being punished, punishing someone, specifically spanking. So,
Ah,
my fetish is spanking, and I was born that way. I'm convinced of it. Like, I wasn't like a little 5-year-old running around being like, spank me. But
Of course.
I was definitely obsessed with spanking from the age of 5
Okay. So, and that's technically a fetish, not a kink.
because I needed to orgasm. And I didn't understand that until I was older, but I knew the obsession started young. So, like, I've known I was kinky my whole life, and there was so much shame that came with it because it wasn't just kink in terms of like, oh, it's fun to have spicy sex. It was kink in terms of like, why am I thinking about this other thing instead of thinking about sex? Like I had girlfriends and they would care about boys kissing them and wanting a boyfriend. I'm like, I just want a boy to spank me. And that was like that's a really weird thing. So I carried a lot of shame with that. It
ah,
wasn't just kink. Kink is a nice to have, fetish is a must have.
that's
If
really cool. It
Yeah.
makes me think like when we're having sex, whatever I'm thinking in those final moments, that's the fetish, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if it's the same thing over and over again, that is the fetish.
Okay. And probably, I bet you majority of people then have a fetish.
A lot of people do, right? And it's about understanding that core desire behind it. What is it? Like mine is being punished. And I have this belief and understanding for myself that if someone's paying enough attention to me to see that I'm doing something wrong and I need to be punished, I feel more loved by them because I feel like they really see me. And I have this eternal fear. I truly have this fear in life that like I'm going to mess everything up and my whole life's going to fall apart. But when I'm with someone who's willing to punish me, I'm like, they will catch me if I fall before I fall too far.
Oh
And
my
then I
gosh.
feel loved and safe. And
Wow.
there's obviously no way I was feeling this way like a 5-year-old, but
Right, right.
as I've grown, that happens. So a lot of people who have a fetish, I try or a kink at all, I'm like, "What is the core desire behind your kink? Like, what is the deep need that you have that your kink fulfills?" And for me, spanking and punishment fulfills that thing of I'm seen and safe.
Wow. That's
Okay.
really cool. How interesting. I love that.
Yeah.
And fetish, I think, gets a bad name. And the way you've described it, and as I think about myself now, I think it's absolutely fine. And we just need to like introspect a little bit, like,
Yeah.
and just kind of accept that about ourselves.
And just self-reflect.
100%. But it's so hard to accept these things about yourself, especially if you've experienced it your whole life at a time where you're already like, there are kinks I have now. There are things that I enjoy, and I have no shame about them because I developed in them as an adult and they felt more normal. And I never associated shame with them. But like my fetish, I swear this is answering your question. My fetish is deeply intertwined with shame because I was so embarrassed by it growing up. And then when I learned, so then I was in my mid 20s, I moved to New York City and I used to work at the Wall Street Journal during the day. And at night I would go, I moonlit as a dominatrix. So I became a professional dominatrix and I worked at a dungeon in New York City to pay the bills. And
Worked in a dungeon in New York
yeah.
City. Like, that is one of the coolest sentences I've ever heard.
It was one of my favorite jobs. So, that now we're matching up born kinky, worked in a dungeon, learned that this shame that I was feeling, so many people shared. I was 25, 26. I started working there when I was 24. I had clients who were 60, right? Very powerful, very wealthy, and they all had this same story. It was almost creepy. They were like, "I wish I'd known when I was younger that I could explore this, that I could marry someone who was into this." And it was so creepy. I heard this sentence so many times. I married the woman I was supposed to marry, meaning they got their trophy wife. They did everything the way they were supposed to, but their own shame stopped them from getting what they actually wanted and going after what they actually wanted. So I realized, Amanda, if you don't get a hold of this shame, you are going to be one of these people who's 60 and like unwilling or unnaturally able to go for what they want because I'm so embarrassed. Now remember, I'm fine with all the other kinks. It's my own fetish that I'm ashamed of and I'm scared to ask for because I'm so embarrassed by it. So I started doing a lot of self-work. I ultimately left the dungeon even though it was the best job I've ever had because was growing in corporate America. I That was a real career. I couldn't be a dominatrix forever, sadly. Although that current situation sort of changes that a little bit. But eventually, after 10 years of working in an office, I decided like I'm still missing being a dominatrix. How do I fit that work into my life again without going back to work at the dungeon? And I found a course called Somatica for sex and relationship coaching, and in that course, I learned about intimacy and vulnerability. And by that time, I had worked out how to talk to my partner about being kinky and wanting him to be my Dom. But I realized this course is going to be so helpful for other kinky people who feel the shame I felt and needed to work through. I can use the tools that I'm learning here as a certified sex and relationship coach to help other kinky people. So one day I just woke up. It was really this simple. I woke up and decided I'm going to be the kink consultant and I'm going to match like my business background with my kink background. And I'm going to be a sex and relationship coach who specializes in kink. And that is, I'm so sorry, like the 10-minute story of how I've got became the kink
Never
consultant.
apologize. So we're not allowed to apologize on our podcast.
I
Never apologize.
love that. I have that
Women
rule on the
apologize way
pickleball
too
court.
much.
Yes, I have that rule on the pickleball court. If someone like fucks up a shot, I'm like, you're not allowed to apologize. You can curse, but you can't say sorry.
Oh,
And
yeah, you can say fuck all day, but
yeah,
you can't say sorry.
yeah. So I rescind that. I'm sorry. You're
Perfect.
right.
I love
You
that.
asked the question, I answered it.
Yeah, no, that was a perfect answer. Can I ask a kind of a side quest question?
Please.
Can you define, like, I think I know, but like, can you define dungeon? Like, what
Dungeon
exactly?
And
is
can we go?
I've seen them in movies and on shows, but like, for our viewers that might not know and
oh,
they're
fair.
educating themselves.
It's a really good question because what you see on TV, granted the dungeon I worked at looked a lot like what you'd see on TV because it was an industrial or it was like
Yeah.
set up to be that type of space. A dungeon is almost anything you make it. It could be a red room, it could be a room with just like a couch on it that you turn into, but with the power exchange ideas in your mind, you turn into a space that's to explore kink. But specifically, the dungeon I worked at was the second floor of a building in New York that had 6 or 7 rooms, all designed in different, like, colors and themes. One of them was looked like a living room, so it looked like you were sitting in your house, and it was a living room. There were 2 or 3 medical rooms, so they looked like, doctor's offices for, like, role play, and then there were 3 other rooms that had, uh a St. Andrew's cross, like the things you would see in a movie, like a four-post bed that you could get tied to, an X cross in the corner that you also could get tied to, um, different mechanism or different, like, things hanging from the ceiling that you also could get tied to. So there's a lot of immersive props and furniture that helps aid in different types of BDSM play.
Okay.
That's cool. So if you're looking to save money, can you get like a membership there so you don't have to build out
No.
something in your house, a red room in your
I was
house?
like, how do we get into these dungeons?
No, I'm like, how do a red room? That sounds amazing.
There are dungeons you can rent for $100 an hour. There's actually a really famous one on Instagram called LA Pink Dungeon or something like that. If you even just look up
Oh,
Pink Dungeon LA, you will find it and
I mean,
it's
just
super
for even a
cute.
photo shoot would be really cool. Just
I'm thinking of
like,
recording a podcast episode there in
I
the
love
future.
that.
I talked to them. I was at
ooh.
AVN, which are the porn awards, about 2 weeks ago or a week ago. And I ran into them there and I was like, I really want to come record a podcast in that setting. They were like, this is the price. Don't even quote the price because like prices change. I was just like, what can
Oh,
I?
sure. No,
Yeah.
but it's a cool
Yeah.
idea.
But yes,
I
you
love
can.
that. I love that for a date night. Here I am going to Airbnbs
Oh,
with
girl.
views.
Yes,
Please.
date night?
Yeah.
Next level.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I want
I
that
never even
energy.
think about that, but because my eternal dream is to have my own dungeon and have my, like, a space just to play whenever I feel like it, to go in and role play with, like, all of that type of furniture. Like, we even had this really cool thing at that dungeon I worked at. It was a wheel that literally had a mechanical thing so you could get tied to the wheel and be turned upside down for
Oh,
torture.
that sounds
I mean,
horrible for me. I get very dizzy. I would get motion sick and throw up.
it didn't move that quickly, but how interesting
Okay.
is that? Like,
That's
Mhm.
cool.
I
It's like
never
next level props.
it was
Mhm.
next level props, like, there are very few clients who actually want it because much like you, Stephanie, they're like, "Absolutely not. Why would I ever get on it?" But it's cool
It would
to
not be
have it.
sexy. You wouldn't do it
Yeah,
one time.
but it's cool to have it. So,
Oh, for sure.
yeah, no, that was a really good question. You can go to a dungeon by yourself, you can find one to rent. I think the one I work at, when I was there, you could only go if you were hiring a dominatrix, but I think now they rent out the rooms. Ooh, one more note. When you're a dominatrix, you do not have sex with your clients. It is mostly about role playing, impact play. There is no sex because it's not it, but it's still considered sex work because you are working within the confines of someone's fantasy and pleasure.
Oh, I didn't know
It's
it was considered sex work.
yeah, dominatrix
I just
is
thought it was like an
dominate.
artistic type of expression.
I think the IRS does actually have a category for what that type of work is.
Is it
But
taxable? Of course the IRS would get involved.
yeah,
Okay.
oh, it's taxable. They find their way.
Oh my god.
Okay, so I'm curious, have you found through working at the dungeon or talking to people, is there like one really common kink that kind of everybody's about or the majority or
I think that from my time at the dungeon, I saw a lot of clients who were married and they were coming to us. And remember, we weren't having sex with them, but they wanted close connection. Even now, as a coach, I'm not a pro dom anymore, but I coach couples and individuals. And the number one thing I hear from men is, I just want to feel connected to my wife. And that doesn't always mean sex. I
Mhm.
found that at the dungeon too. People would come in and they would ask for sensual domination, and what they really meant is they wanted to be touched and caressed and held, and they didn't
Ooh.
always want to be hit or any of the things you imagine someone's looking for.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think I
Okay.
could do that.
I could so much of my work was just talking to people about their kinks. Like, I cannot explain it. It was I mean, also, when I look back, I was a 24-year-old dominatrix. What did I know? I mean, I knew some stuff because I was naturally kinky, but I think about how much better I'd be as a 37-year-old going into a dungeon and doming some stranger off the street. So I don't think I was that great as a dom back then, but I was really good at talking to people. So I get repeat clients because I was the only person they felt they could talk to about their kink. So they would come back and
Oh.
tell me about their marriage and stuff. And now I do that in a more official capacity as a certified sexologist and
I was gonna
coach.
say, it sounds like therapy for a lot of these people.
It is like therapy, or it was, and a lot of them had these, like, many year-long relationships with the dominatrix they would come see, and even though they never had sex, they'd describe it as their most vulnerable or intimate relationship because that person knew everything about them.
You know what I think I'm we're always piecing together the patriarchy and its oppression. What I think I'm hearing about these poor men in the world is that they want to be vulnerable and open themselves up, but they've been told and brainwashed since birth that they cannot. You got to stuff it down. And that's a detriment to their relationships and their own happiness because they can't be fully open.
They can't, they couldn't. I remember thinking like, "Well, you're so powerful and rich, you could have married anyone you wanted, but you just went with what you were told to marry and want." So I felt as a 24-year-old, I lacked a lot of empathy because I was just, a self-absorbed mid-20s girl who had just moved to New York City, and in my eyes, these men had everything I wanted, money and power. And then they were coming to me and saying like, "Oh, I wish I had X, Y, and Z." And I'm like, "You're rich, you could have whatever you want." But to your point, they didn't have that ability to see their options clearly. They had this like, here's the path you're supposed to be on, especially I guess in the 70s and 80s. It's like, go be on this path and you will be successful.
Yeah.
And it wasn't wrong. They had enough money to come to the dungeon at least once a week, a lot of times even more.
You know, it's funny. This is exactly what Bliss Babe is about. Like, God, my second marriage, for instance, I married him because I was engaged. I got engaged because we were dating, and we stayed dating because we were dating, even though it was toxic and volatile for all 6 years. And then one day I just woke up and was like, actually, I'd rather die alone. And then I broke up with him. I was like, I actually just want to be happy. And this was my second divorce. And I was like, I don't even care how stupid this looks, and I know it's gonna look stupid to people. I just don't care anymore. And I just wish that for everyone, like starting life, don't care what people think of you because they don't matter. They're not in your house with you, living your miserable life, going to bed at night, hating your partner, looking at their face and being like, ugh,
Yes. No one else, but also they also never led the life you wanna lead most of the time, but they'll be the first to judge too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely. Yes.
Totally. And then, fast forward 20 years, I looked stupid then, super happy now, and you're in your bitter marriage. So what you should do, and I wish everybody the best. We're all learning. And that's what's
yeah.
important about this because there's room up here. You should all just come aboard. We're trying to pull each other up here.
Pulling everyone back up. Yes.
Yeah, we're all learning and we're on our journeys and making mistakes and maybe this marrying who society wants you to, or having this life that looks a certain way is actually not the American dream or the life dream or whatever
No.
it is.
And it's so easy to get caught up in it. I think that like what gave me more empathy is also just experience some of the things myself. So last year, no, now a year and a half ago, I went through a breakup with my fiance, and we had within 12 months of just less than 12 months before our breakup, actually almost a year to the day to buying a house together, I broke up with him.
Oh,
And part of what's kept me in the relationship was like I had the dream life. We were engaged, we just bought a house, we had great jobs, and I think I may have been miserable, like, looking back. He was also, like, sleeping with multiple prostitutes, but
there you go.
excuse me,
Yeah.
Oh,
excuse me,
whoa, there was that. Yeah.
escorts, but I'm not even angry about it. I'm, like, looking back, I was like, "Yeah, thank." I was just thinking this morning, I'm like, "Thank God he did that," because I think we both would have stayed had we
Hmm.
because
Well, it was a
you
comfort zone, I'm sure, for
you
you.
get trapped in it, you
Yeah.
know?
And like the change is more scary for a lot of people than just living miserable in that little comfort zone. So,
Yes. And
yeah.
The correct term is escort, not prostitute, as she told me many times. So,
Escort. Correct.
Now we know. Working
The more
woman.
you know.
Working
We're all
person.
about
Yeah.
educating and
and I'm pro sex work, obviously.
I am too, actually.
we have nothing against that.
Yes.
But when it's your fiance, it's probably a little different.
Also, like, I had one rule, you can't pay for it, and, so at the time,
I'm
we
sure
were,
they're not
like
cheap. Yeah, that's
we
it.
were, like, non-monogamous, so I wasn't angry, it was just, like, I had already put a rule in place, "Please don't pay for it," and then that had been broken in the thousands of dollars per month, so it
I was
was
gonna
just
say
like
it's not cheap. Yeah,
it's
it's an
not,
expensive
especially here in
vendor.
Vegas.
Mhm.
And it's not something I talked about for a while until, like, oof, recently. And it couldn't be like a full-on emotional affair. There were just I class it as cheating, not because because we were non-monogamous, it was like he hadn't gone totally out of what we had agreed upon. It was just the crossing of boundaries that had been negotiated. That
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
problem. But anyway, long story short, I thought it was, like, the hardest thing ever. I thought I was happy in it because I did what everyone was so proud of. It was like, "Wow, you bought a house, that's amazing, you did all of these things." And then it was like, "Oh, but it's not feeling like the right thing." I was just lucky it was easy to leave. Mm.
Yeah. Well, I'm proud of you for doing that.
Thanks. I do look
Very,
back at it
very difficult.
Yeah, I do look back at it as kind of like one of the hardest things I've ever done because moving away from what society tells you should be doing comes with a lot of judgment coming full circle, a lot of judgment, a lot of fear. I'm constantly even still scared of like, can I get into another relationship? Is everything going to be okay? How much do I want to commit? And when will I know it's the right time? Because I got it wrong once.
Mhm.
Oh, girl, we have fucked up many, many, many times. Like, I joke around, I kissed 1,000 frogs and toads until I
Yeah.
found, my husband. And, Tammy as well, she's on her 3rd marriage. Like, you can't worry about that. Just keep moving forward one step at a
Yeah.
time.
Oh, I
If
love
it feels
that.
right, it feels right.
I
Yeah.
agree with that. Like, I
Yeah.
know a lot about my own pleasure. That's what I help people with. The parts I need help with are like the IRS taxes and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like like, when is the right time to buy a house with your partner? I do not give people that advice as a coach because I'm like, "That's not my area of expertise, but you wanna introduce kink? Let's go."
I love that.
Yeah. Well, speaking back on kink, when should you bring up the idea or that you have a kink with a partner?
I think once
Like,
you
because you had a very
understand
interesting, like, Instagram post about that, like, the wrong time to bring it up.
Oh, there are definitely wrong times. I'm gonna tell you right now, one of the wrong times is on Valentine's night. Like, please do not spring this on your partner.
By the way, this will be out like a week beforehand. Oh, and we are advising what you should do is get a bottle of wine, sit in your living room, listen to the podcast, laugh about it, get a little uncomfortable, and then be like, would you go to a dungeon? Would you
Yes.
do this for a date night while you're
You with the
drinking?
spanking? Can I spank you?
This is literally it. I actually offer a
Yeah.
freebie called Speaking Your Desires with Confidence that I'm gonna please like put it in the show notes for everyone because it's literally the perfect prep work for Valentine's Day to if you want to explore this on Valentine's Day, do the prep work.
It'll be in the show notes, and I'm going to do it as well because although I have a fantastic sex life and a really open communication with my partner, I know there are things that we haven't thought about talking about. And although we try and think about things, we could use prompting, and I'd love
Yeah,
to
and
know more.
it's even something you could do on your own to be ready for, like, when you meet a partner to know so when's the right time? When you fully understand your own it's hard to fully understand. When you have thought about what your own needs and desires are, and you're ready to talk about them with your partner because you want to explore them or you curious about exploring them. I don't recommend just bringing up every kink that's ever come to mind and saying, like, "I wanna try all these things," because that can be overwhelming to a non-kinky partner.
Oh, that's really good advice. So don't come in with, like, a whole hot list. Maybe
No.
your top
Like
kink.
3. Honestly, I say 1 or 2, and I go through this in Speaking Your Desires with Confidence. Let's start with 1 or 2 because those are the most important to you. They're the ones you're gonna be most passionate about, and those are the ones then that you're gonna have to break down a lot. So, for example, If so right now I have this
Right.
amazing kinky partner. Our kinks are so aligned. I'm obsessed with him. We have a great relationship because a lot of the other stuff is aligned too, but like the kinks being the same, amazing. When I have dated people who did not have the fetish I have, one of the issues was like I came in with now like 32 years of experience obsessing over it, and like they're a complete noob, and I get overly excited and I want them to be perfect from the beginning, and I like unload a bunch of stuff. Not anymore. I like learned how to not do this, and that's why I created the guide. I was like, do
This is why we
everything.
need you. You are giving
Yes.
us the guide. Yeah.
But and I find this a lot with my clients too. They have obsessed over something for so long, and then they go to introduce it to their partner and they're like nerding out on something, and their partner's like, okay for the first 5 minutes, and they're like, "Whoa, this is too much," and they shut down. That's why I
Oh,
say, like, 1 or 2, make it the most important ones to you. If it's the one you've been obsessing over for 30 years, then have that conversation, but learn how to break it down in digestible, like, easy to understand sound bites almost. And it's not just one conversation, but I go through that in the guide because it's the type of advice I wish I had or the guide I wish I had when introducing it to. I'm also divorced, by the way. I eloped at 20 and got divorced at 27, 25. It was a long divorce. Anyway,
oh, cheers to you.
I'm a member of the club.
Yeah.
So I'm
Congratulations on your divorce. That's what I tell everybody.
I tried, I wish I had known all of this when I was younger, you know?
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
have been the ideal thing. But anyway, now this guide exists because I wanna help other people go down a different path than I went down with trying to explain it. It's the number one thing I have clients come to me about when, like, they introduce it first and it doesn't go well. So I have clients who come to me, they introduce their kink in the wrong way, the wrong time, maybe even years ago, and now their partner is like, "Okay, maybe we can explore it," and then that's when they come to me and I'm like, "Okay, like, let's get off on the right foot." And this is, like, the number one thing I give them to work on first.
So what are some other, so not on Valentine's Day, where's a couple of other really bad times to introduce a kink?
Never bring it up in bed. Like, literally, if you're about to have sex, bringing up a kink is not the time because you're not gonna one time I was, not I had, like, a friends with benefits, and I didn't know he was kinky, but he knew I was kinky, so then, like, we were having sex, and he brought out these thigh-high tube socks and asked me to wear them, and I was fine with it, okay? But it didn't allow for any conversation or any understanding. I felt a little fetishized in the moment of like, okay, I'm just putting on those tube socks. I don't know why. I don't know what it does for you. But he didn't have any pre-conversation. I think that's a terrible experience because it doesn't prepare the other person, and you don't know what the after effects of introducing a kink are. There is a kink rule. You never renegotiate mid-scene. And if you're having sex and then introducing kink, or even just about to initiate sex and then introducing uh, a kink, you're kind of negotiating mid-scene or renegotiating, being like, "Hey, would you do this one thing?" And there could be a lot of implications. There could be triggers, there could just be discomfort. I
Yeah.
would keep it out of the bedroom. If you wanna introduce a kink, I would start by saying, "Hey, there's something I wanna talk to you about that I'm excited that I wanna explore with you." I would do it over coffee, breakfast, lunch, out to dinner, literally anywhere except in the bedroom. And a couple of hours before you want to do it, at least. It's better if it's a couple of days or weeks. So you have time to think about, so you and your partner have time to think about extra information.
That's
Cool.
brilliant. Yeah, I like doing your research. Tammy and I come from the nursing background, so we are always like reading journal articles and research and the latest thing. So it makes sense though to research your kink, know it about yourself, and then slowly introduce it to a partner. Because you're right, I would hate to be blindsided like that with the tube sock guy. I'd be like,
Yeah.
well, where the fuck did this come from? Like, what?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? It kind of would distract from the actual pleasure of the moment.
It distracted from it for so many reasons. Like this is a memory just unlocked. So tube sock guy. I'm not
Tube
saying,
sock guy,
I'm
I
here
love
for
that.
it.
yeah, tube
What
sock
color were
guy.
they? I need more visual.
They were white with red stripes. Do you know
Okay.
what tube socks look like? But they came
Oh
out to
yeah.
my thighs. So
I
yeah,
didn't know they went that high.
they obviously don't normally. That's so
These are
thank you.
special ordered. Yeah,
There's
he had these.
so like I get
For
taken
you.
out of this moment. I put on the tube socks and I'm wearing them and we are continuing on our journey of sex. And I'm thinking it totally takes me out of the sex moment because I'm thinking, did he order these? Did he know? Did he have to get a
Oh,
special size for my
yeah.
legs? Like,
Did
I
he
had
think
to
of
think through. Oh, this
yeah.
is Amazon order? Is there a tube sock sex store? And I am not shaming this man at all. Like, I was so
No, not
into it though, because I was like, well, this is new. And that was exciting. But I wished he had brought it up in advance so that we could have talked about it. So I could have asked like, "Well, where did you get them? Do you have these? Like, has any other woman ever worn these tube socks?" I had no idea. I'm pretty sure I could tell they were new. They were
Yeah, they
folded
were
like
like
they were
they had the
new.
folding creases at the
Yes,
heel. Yeah.
exactly. But
but I
I
bet
just
brought up
brought
in
it up.
the right moment, there's an opportunity for the man to speak his vulnerability and then or your partner, man, woman, whatever, to speak in, their why this makes them vulnerable and an opportunity to really feel like, wow, secure. There's a safety there now.
Right.
And your relationship could just blossom if you
Oh,
say it in the right moment.
there was never any relationship there. But yes, exactly. Like,
He was
I
a fuck
don't
buddy.
know
Yeah.
if his current
We love a good fuck buddy.
yeah, I don't know
Everyone,
if
yeah, if you're not dating someone, get a good fuck buddy. That's great.
indeed.
That's Valentine's Day advice right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like a safe one.
there you go. It's not easy to do that either though. To find a good person you feel safe with, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I I could probably do a whole other episode on how to find a fuck.
I've raised a bunch of
We're gonna do a part
daughters.
2 with you, a part 2
Yeah.
how
Yeah,
to find a fuck buddy.
yeah. I've raised well, 4 daughters, 2 are my husband's, 2 are mine. I have a niece I talk to about this now, she's so young. But my rule for young women is when you start having sex, it'd be cool if you love the person. That'd be cool. Whatever. But secondarily, or maybe primarily, have it be someone you feel safe
Safe.
with
Safe
because they
to
can
find
shame you or they can physically harm you or take advantage of you. So actually, I have to throw out the love one number one. Like, yeah, it'd be cool if you love the person. That'd be great. Sure. Otherwise, just make sure they're safe.
Yes.
That's what
Yeah.
we're looking for.
It's
And
really
then
hard to
beyond
love
that,
someone though. Like
yeah,
that's a big tall order. That's putting a
it's
lot of
hard.
pressure on them. But I get
Yeah.
it. Like I get it. That's a
Yeah, you gotta give some sexual guidelines.
yeah.
Safety first every time, but
Safe.
beyond that, like a good fuck buddy, you need to find a sexual compatible partner is hard.
I
We
think
all know.
wait, yes. And then I don't want to complain too much, but then if you put a fetish on top of that, it's an added layer that you need. Like I always say my dating pool is very shallow because I want to date someone else who shares my fetish, and that just really shrinks the number of people I'm willing to date now.
Sure.
Which is,
Yeah.
I met my boyfriend at a kink event for my specific fetish, and we were just lucky enough to actually hit it off as people in
Yeah.
addition to partners, like play partners.
I get that. Well, we have a new friend who's a numerologist and she narrows her field based on numerology. So, like we all have our preferences for our match.
I need to talk to her because I also not only do I use numerology, I care about that a lot. I also look at Chinese zodiac year for things, and I have like I don't know if you spoke to her about this, but I won't do anything from in relation to my enemy year. So I'm year of the dragon, my enemy year is year of the dog. If someone was born in my enemy year, I won't date them.
Oh, we did ask her for advice. We were like, "So do you screen like their birthday?" And she was like, "Oh yeah."
Absolutely.
Did
Yeah.
she have a number that she wouldn't date? Like I don't date
Yeah,
five.
she said we all have compatibility numbers. Stephanie and I are soulmates, for instance.
Yeah, we didn't know we're soulmates.
What's your number? I need to listen to the episode, but
We
I
had
Yeah,
4s, 6s, and 11s as
okay.
soulmates.
yeah, and to be soulmates, you had to have 3 together. 4, 3, 3.
3 of the numbers had to be together, but we had like multiple 4s, multiple 11s.
And
Yeah.
6s
We
or
should
something.
do some cross episodes where we get like all these powerful women together.
Oh,
Oh my
please
god.
do. I already
Possibly like
know.
a retreat. Like, let's do it. And we
Ooh,
can
that would
just
be very fun. I'm gonna go listen to that episode right after this.
numerology.
Yeah, our numerology episode and the numerology fairy on Instagram, and she's awesome, just like you. So,
Oh, well, I'm gonna follow her, and I think I might need to have her on my podcast just to be like,
yeah,
who am I looking for? Do
Our
kinks have
besties are colliding.
I know. It's so
I'm
important. It's
nervous.
yeah, we're all out here trying to empower ourselves and figure this shit out. And I love your process though, be open about it, speak your truth. And
Because I wanna say something else. When you approach the conversation correctly, very few couples I've ever spoken to are like, "No, absolutely not." There are some who say, "I just can't do this," but a lot of people's worst fear when you ask them is like, "I'm scared they're gonna leave me. I'm scared they're gonna tell me I'm the most disgusting person who ever existed because I want to do X, Y, and Z." And that's the fear a lot of people have, but then the reality is they're not really that's not the experience they have. There might be some awkward conversation, there might be like, "I don't know, that creeps me out." There might be talking people off the ledge of like, "No, I can never do that," into like, "Well, maybe I could do it like this or consider it." It's I've never heard anyone I've never had a client come to me and say like, "Well, they left me." Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good feedback then.
it's just about approaching the conversation correctly, and even if you approach it incorrectly, it doesn't mean it's over, you know? Unless the only reason the conversation would be over is if the person says, "I've already tried it," or "I absolutely hate that," or "There's no way I could ever do that to you. It physically disgusts me." But the relationship still doesn't end at that. It's just literally like you sometimes have to sit with the disappointment of it not working. So it's not all a fairy tale. Not every couple who introduces kink keeps the kink going,
mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
That makes sense.
It's tough. It's a
But that
tough
would be a hard
reality.
relationship to be with someone who couldn't support your kink. And furthermore, if they can't support your fetish, which you need that to actually orgasm, correct? That would be
Yeah.
a really hard sell for me. I think that that's a very important my sexuality and like having that relationship is so important to me. I think that would be hard.
And I
To
do work with some clients on like processing and living and working through the disappointment to decide to stay in the relationship because sometimes 19 out of 20 boxes are ticked and you're like, you have to think, where's the priority for this truly in my life? And if your partner doesn't match your fetish, it doesn't mean the end of the relationship. That partner might just need to understand that during sex, they are going to be running their own fantasy in their head of whatever their fetish is. So a lot of times it has nothing to do with me actually physically being spanked. Sometimes I just like the dirty talk of it, but other times I'll just think of it in my head if I'm not in a sexual situation where like that's the vibe. I will still totally be physically present, but in my mind I'm running a scenario, like a fantasy.
I think that's cool. I bet you God, and again, I'm having great sex now, but I've got a couple of ex-husbands that I needed to run scenarios. But as I think about it now, those were probably more fetishes in my mind that I needed, and I just wasn't getting that from my partner.
Maybe
You know,
exactly. You might just have a core desire of needing to feel loved or adored or seen. There are so many core desires you could be feeling and that kink fits the need. But it is a thing where it literally needs to be every orgasm you've ever had is thinking about the one thing. So for some people that's feet. For some people it's trying to think smoking. There's a smoking fetish where people just
oh,
and people
oh my God. By the way, tell us some fetishes that you maybe our listeners will be like, "Oh shit, that's my fetish too," and they can talk to their partner about it.
So, power exchange, I would say, is the broadest fetish. It's the idea, the Dom sub idea that can be fun to play with, and that can be a kink for people. But there are some people who need to be in control and thinking that they have all the power in order to orgasm. So I would say power exchange is one of the broadest terms, but it can be a fetish, foot fetish. Um, there are also different fetishes around sharing. There's tickling, which is a tickling fetish is like actually about control more than um actual tickling.
is it more so them being tickled or tickling someone else?
It could be
Or
either
both?
or. It could be either or, both.
Oh, I've
Um
never heard of that one.
yeah, and then for some people, orgasm denial or cuckolding or the fantasy of that could be their fetish. Like there are certain things that people have and they just need to think about it. And they can be really random. Some people have like a leather fetish where outside of like people wearing leather as part of the kink aesthetic, which I love, certain people need to be touching or thinking about or wearing leather in order to orgasm.
Huh.
Balloon fetish, where people need to be thinking about balloons. Like, what
Wow.
else? Oh, yeah, like, basically almost anything could be a fetish. Sweater fetish, they think of, like, a really warm, comfy sweater. Diaper fetish, there are. And it's really hard to explain because so many of these things could just be kinky things that people enjoy to have in their life, but then other people need it in order to orgasm, which is why I, like, try and give the PSA to everyone the difference between a kink and a fetish.
I love
Oh,
that.
thank you for that. So what's like the newest kink or fetish that you've heard of
I think
that kind of like not surprised you, but like they were like, oh, that's a new one for me.
I think chastity cages are do you know what a chastity cage is? A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
I'm
So
picturing the metal testicle
that they
cover
like
thing
Yes.
lock it.
from
Like,
medieval shows.
yeah, I've
Yes.
seen it in movies and things.
That is a cage that men or a woman will put on a man to stop them from
Oh,
being
they're
able
for
to get
men too? I thought it was just for
Yes.
like to lock up a woman's virginity. That's what I thought like in
That's what they used to be
medieval
for.
times, right?
And
Yeah.
now their men wear chastity cages around their cock and balls, and it's well, around their cock, and it stops them from being able to get hard because it's a cage that literally
Oh,
they get hard, like it's in the cage, it gets hard, but it can't get hard because it's being compressed by
that's
this metal
painful.
cage. It's catching on. Men like being in chastity. I had someone on my podcast, and she's a professional dom, and she specializes in, like, male chastity, and she's like, "Every man should be caged," but she talks a lot about the benefits of it. Men stay more focused, they go
Every
to the
man should
gym
be
more.
caged. I love it. Let's
Yeah,
flip this. Yeah.
that's her
Lock them up.
yeah. Um, so I think that one's big, and pegging is majorly on the rise. Someone recently asked me that question of, like, "What's the next big fetish?" And I was like, "Definitely pegging." Because
What is
men are
pegging?
becoming pegging is when you put on a dildo and you get when men get fucked by a woman who's wearing a dildo. That's, like, not the only way, but a woman puts a strap-on with, like, a dildo and, fucks her husband or boyfriend or male partner in the butt
Wow, wow.
and massages and it basically just it reaches the prostate,
The
and I think
prostate.
men
Yeah.
are becoming more comfortable with their prostate being stimulated,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be like a life-size dick. It can be a small one, just enough to give the impression that they're getting fucked, and it has nothing to do with being gay. It has nothing to do with their sexuality. It can just feel really good to have your prostate stimulated in that way.
Ah, that's cool. Oh my God. For couples, for people who are listening, or if you're a single person and you're like, I've been thinking about that, I'm gonna do it, go and do it. Go to the store and buy the prostate massager or go
Yes,
on Amazon. Everything's on Amazon.
everything is. Go
You don't
or
have to leave your
go
house.
you
Knee-high tube
don't.
socks are on Amazon right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we think. I never went looking for them again, but I really feel like they
I'm
came
They're
from
sure they
both
are.
on there,
Amazon.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, or go
Right,
to
so
the sex
treat yourself
store.
for Valentine's Day. Everyone should go out and that should be your homework. Buy
Yeah.
yourself something.
I just heard from a friend and I bought some scratch offs. My husband doesn't know it yet. They've already arrived. I'm always just looking for fun things, like anything. It could be conversation, it could be positional, it could be anything at all. I'm just looking, I just enjoy like exploring a little bit. So
Yeah.
I definitely encourage for my partner, like if there's a thing, you can say it. This is a safe space. We're safe partners and we'll talk about it. We'll definitely try it, and
Yeah, it's so worth it, and just talk about all aspects of it, like, "Oh, here's a big one." Okay, when you mention to your partner what you're into or when you're talking about fantasies, one of the exercises I do with my clients is I make them take me through the entire process, either from beginning to end or end to start. And I ask them very specific questions. So sometimes I have clients who want to open up their relationship and they want to be non-monogamous. They want to go to a swingers party. They want to have a threesome. And I will ask the awkward questions of like, so are all three of you on the bed at the same time? And it's not actually an awkward question, but they're like, well, I imagine it like this, and the other person imagines it a different way. And so I really make people go through every part of the process, and we choose the beginning or the end. Um, to make people think about like, this is what the reality is going to be. Do you want this reality and do you share the same vision? If you can do that with your partner, I think your chances of success in whatever you're planning to try is much higher.
Cool.
Yeah. It sounds basic and boring, but I guarantee there's no such thing as over communication before starting something. It's only when you're in it that over communication can become a problem because it can make it a little less fluid or more awkward, or it might stop things in its track. I am not saying don't communicate during. I'm just saying imagine if you could do all of that pre communication in such a strong way that when you get into the scene, you two are already aligned. You have safe words or code words set up between each other that
Ooh,
help you feel safe and understand. I mean, I can't think of anything more empowering before going into a new adventure like that.
Yes,
really
prepare
cool.
yourself. Do your homework,
Yeah.
but then you don't have those awkward moments, like, you're aligned with your goals. I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even things
this is
like,
the perfect pre-Valentine's Day episode.
Yeah. What is it
2 weeks
with
to get it together, guys.
Yeah, we have time because yeah, this episode will be out, like, February 4th or something. I think you'll have, like, 10 days to get it together. And, what is it with sex? Because people go to the bathroom with the door open when they have a partner sometimes, People are in the bathroom together. People can, like, fart around one another. People can talk about, they overspent on the credit card. They backed the car and, they tore the side view mirror off of their car recently. And, so
Something that happened to me?
wait, yeah, wait,
the other morning I'm back
Confessions.
so I'm going to work the other day, and I'm back in my car out of the driveway, and I hit my side view mirror on the side of the garage at, like, 6:45 in the morning.
Maybe you became British all of a sudden.
I
I
was yeah, it was garage, so mad, the car park, I was so mad. I got out, embarrassed, there's no neighbors out. I plugged the little turn signal thing back into my side view mirror, and the cover I could still smoosh back onto the side view mirror. The mirror wasn't broken. I got home that night and I was like, I'm so embarrassed to tell you this thing. And I told him,
it happened.
and he was like, he's like, it's fine. It actually is fine. I don't even think we need to get it fixed. But, but that's
yeah.
what I did.
But you're right, you could talk about all of these things in life.
What is it with our
Can't talk
sexual
about your
desires?
kinks. Everyone
Yeah.
talk about your kinks.
Why is this
I
so
think
stigmatized?
I think that level of familiarity is exactly why it's so difficult to be vulnerable with people. I make a joke, but it's kind of serious. It's really hard to talk about your sex life with the same person who's cleaning your toilet bowl. Because it doesn't matter if it's the man or the woman cleaning the toilet bowl, right? That level of intimacy
Hmm.
and closeness in every part of your life, opening this final door to someone who knows every other part of you and has accepted you in other ways can be so scary. Whereas a stranger, if they don't accept this part of you, fuck them. Who cares? Fine, there's another stranger to talk to. But if your partner doesn't accept this, like it's this part, especially that you might feel is really embarrassing, it can feel scary and devastating. However, per what I said earlier, I have I've never had anyone come to me and say, "Well, my wife left me because I told her about my kink." Ever. Sometimes they're like, "I can't." Their wife or husband says, "I can't do this." And I've also had it the other way where I will have a woman come to me and say, "I really need this," and her husband says, "I can't do that. I cannot be that person for you." Um, so it goes both ways. I just happen to be a kink coach for men. Most of my clients are men or couples who are going through like handling, talking to their partner about their kink. Um, but it goes both ways. Yes.
Question. Okay. Do you find that you have more kink couples in your consulting that are early or further into their relationships? Are they like 10 years in and 20 years in and they're like, I can't live like this anymore? Or are they brand new? What are you finding?
I've had a range, right? I see everyone, even people who have never had sex before and are starting to date for the first time. So I see people at that stage, but the majority of my clients, the number one thing that one of the most interesting things is their youngest child is 5 or 6 years old. So it doesn't matter what age they are. It's like once their child hits kindergarten, they are ready to pay attention to their sex life again and they want to get that moving. So there seems to be like our youngest just turned 6 or our youngest just turned 5. I'm like they're going to become my client. Like
My
there's a little
youngest is 4.
yeah. There's something about that age of the youngest child where people start
It
to
makes
reconnect.
sense though, yeah, because you're regaining your identity. Your
Yes.
child is going into the world, so, I mean, there's a lot to be said for that, I get it.
And then the second group, so that's the 45
Is it
to
the empty nesters?
it's there might not even be empty nesters, but one of them just retired or is about to
Gonna go to
retire.
retirement, yeah.
Uh,
So there are those 2 life stages where people come to me, and it might be the woman, it might be the man, um, they might it's the children leaving the house is not the stage. It's specifically the time that one of them is retiring, and they need to they need to find new purpose,
Need a
and
hobby.
they need to also reconnect with a partner that they've been maybe ignoring for 50 to 60 hours a week for the last 30 years.
no doubt about that.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm proud of them, even I mean, it should be any stage. Whenever you're
Yes.
ready, like, you should open up.
I love that. Mom, if you're listening, when you're ready to retire, you should consult this lady and get to it, babe.
One of, like, my best the best feedback I ever get is literally people are saying or, like, very early in working with couples, they're like, "We're still not having sex yet, but I feel so much closer to my partner." And that just breaks my heart and almost makes me cry because I realized how far apart they felt before
Oh,
we started working together, and then it's just small things, like, try complimenting your partner even if you can't do it every day, 3 times a week. Just inject that little change because you start having to look at your partner and look for reasons to compliment them and you start to I'm big about leading with gratitude. So like you start to become thankful for like, "Oh, I'm excited because you look good today." Or, "Oh, did you change your hair?" You start looking for these things and then you pay more attention to your partner and that creates closeness.
that's cute.
Love that, I'm obsessed with that idea.
Isn't that cute
Uh,
but so simple?
oh, wow.
It's so simple. And something I asked asked one of my oldest patients I ever took care of. She was 90 years old. She was married for like 60 some years. Like, what was the secret to your marriage? She's like, I bought my husband flowers. Just like once a month or whatever, she would bring her husband flowers. I was
Oh
like,
my
that's the
gosh.
sweetest thing. And I did that to my
Aw.
husband, and he was like, what are these for? This was years, like 10 years ago. And he was like, mind blown that I thought of him and bought him flowers. Like, men don't get flowers.
Aw.
So
I think over 90% of men have never received flowers, like, there's a real stat around it. It might
I'm
be
gonna
over
buy my husband flowers. Don't tell him. He
I
won't
will tell
listen to
Paul.
this episode before Valentine's Day.
I'm
I think
thinking that too. I wanna get my partner we're gonna be together on Valentine's Day, hopefully, if we live far apart, so hopefully schedules will work out, but if they don't, I'm still gonna send flowers.
I love that.
send, yeah.
I love
That
the
man in your
compliments.
life flowers. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be a partner, just someone.
I was reading earlier, thinking about this, although we've got so many great tips that, things that couples kind of stop doing, and it's flirting. And so I actually had to Google, like, how do I flirt? Because
I
I don't
get that
know.
question.
I've been with my husband 9 years. I do compliment him because I just love everything about him. But, I was like, "How do I flirt?" And it's like holding eye contact with a smile.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, okay, what are your favorite 3 ways to flirt now that you've looked it up?
I like the, maybe just a subtle touch.
Yes.
Just a subtle, like, walking by, like, "Oh, sorry," touch. And, specific compliments. So I compliment him like crazy. I love a compliment. So I'll take, like, compliments on anything.
And you deserve them and
Thank
are
you.
so you're good at complimenting. Do you find that when you compliment more, you get more compliments back?
No.
I
That's
think so.
part of it, right?
But I naturally compliment, and I think maybe I want some of that. But
Yes.
I think he gives a lot of smile gestures and a lot of like, wow looks. But I want the verbal. I want like goddamn, you look like something today. Like, wow.
Have you verbalized it?
Probably not very
I
well.
that's
So
not a Tammy thing to do, no.
No.
No, she did
to
not.
be like
I
meeting
know
or
you didn't.
whatever.
Yeah.
But I
Put
think
it
it
in your speaking your desires with confidence sheet. Put that in there so
oh,
that
cool.
he at least knows that
Yeah.
and the
'Cause
message
you're a
gets out
talking
there.
smoke show.
You absolutely are. Yes.
I will compliment you anytime. But yes, tell Paul, he needs to know that.
I love that. As I was thinking about it, I was like, how do how do I flirt, Google? That's pretty dumb. So
No, I get that question
No!
all the time, Tammy. I get that question. So I told you I'm a king coach for men. I'm thinking almost every man who has come to me talks to me about how to flirt with his wife, and I literally have to break it down. These are men who have been married for 30 years, you
yeah.
know?
See, it's common.
Yeah. Yeah, because you just kind of lose that. But when you first start, there's always these glances and these things, or a little light touch or whatever it is. And yeah, so when you start dating someone, we've been together 9 years, married 6, and he's so great. But yeah, I don't want to lose that, and I want to be sure as this relationship progresses that we kind of keep anchored to that or something. Because I think as people, we probably do love to be desired, so we do need that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I completely agree.
I
And
keep
so
seeing the FUCK pop on the screen for people who are listening. You can't see it, but it's Bliss Babe as fuck, and I keep just seeing fuck pop on the screen behind me. So get on YouTube and check it out, babes. I have a background that I painted, and I've realized the fuck is positioned right there.
no,
The
because it's
fuck
like a
is
mini
perfect.
yeah, it's a
Fuck is
mini reveal. I love the color of the base wall too. I'm like, "Do you know what color that is? Is that like Sherman-Williams something?"
It is. I actually took a picture of it. It is Sherwin-Williams something for sure. Yeah.
Is it like okay, so I just saw a video. I'm like, "Is this Sherwin-Williams Dark Knight?" Check it out, let me know. I'm, like,
I
obsessed with
will.
the color because I'm moving soon, and I think I'm done with this color purple background, and I'm like,
Mhm.
"What color is next?" A different color of purple or a different shade, but definitely so I'm like,
This
"What
one is the real teal
the real teal." I'm
at,
into
like, Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever.
I might need that. Yes.
Do it. Yeah.
Okay,
So
wait,
funny.
you're the
Okay, so we
one thing
should get on your Instagram and we'll put these in the bio. We'll put these in the links as well on
yeah,
YouTube and Spotify so people can access them and they should check you out. But it's a couple of questionnaires because I think there was a Dom and a sub questionnaire. Was that on your page or was that just
I have a ton of freebies. You know how, like, a
okay?
lot of so my Instagram is the_kink consultant, and you know how, like, everyone has, like, this one freebie? I don't, because 'cause I'm like, if you hire me to be your coach, I want you to have this foundational knowledge so we can get further down the, like, path of your journey. And then I'm like, I have a lot of followers. I want them all to get this, information, not just my own clients. So I just created a bunch of freebies. I have a BDSM list of a list of kinks, like it's a yes, no, maybe list of different kinks you might wanna try, so that might be fun if you're further along in your journey of talking about kinks with your partner. You might wanna download that. It's like 200 things, and there are some really boring things like brushing your hair to, like, extreme things like being tied up to a bed for hours, you know?
Mhm.
So but I do a good job of explaining not everything on the list is for everyone. You can skip entire sections because 'cause I've broken it into things like impact play, like, do you wanna experience pain and get spanked or paddled or sensation play? Do you wanna get tickled or, like, have fingers run through your hair. So there's so much on that list. And that's another freebie I have on offer. So on my social media page, the_king consultant, you can also go to my highlights. You know how you can create story highlights,
Huh.
and I have my freebies there as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because I clicked on like your link on your page and I was like, wow, she has like a bunch of stuff on here. So I think we'll probably check it out before Valentine's because me and my husband, we communicate pretty well, pretty great actually. So I think I'm going to download a couple of these things, have us fill them out, and then just laugh and go through it or talk and go through it. It might be a fuck no. It might be a, yeah, I might try that. It might be.
You might like laugh. I remember my partner. So my dom and I sat down to build this list together because I had to do it and I just needed someone to bounce ideas off of. And we had like conversations of who my followers are, how long the list was, and there were things on there like chamber pot usage, and it didn't make the cut for the final list. You might find chamber pot usage on a lot of other BDSM checklists, but I truly tried to curate it for what are the most common kinks for the people I know who are I speak to people just introducing kink into their lives as opposed to like lifelong kinksters. So it's a good starter list. Yes, there are some more extreme things on it, but I really did curate it for people who are probably not as experienced with kink. Because I don't know anyone who is just starting to explore kink or even like 5 to 10 years into their journey who are like, you know what I'm really into? Chamber pots. Like, or yeah, but really it's about like bathroom control of, like,
Yes.
being made to, like, pee in a pot or something. Anyway, my point
Chamber
is
bedpans. Got it.
yes,
I'm the nurse. Hard
yes,
pass. Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
Trauma.
That
Trauma.
any more of that. Yeah.
But there's probably but I have to tell you, I do think some of the best dominatrixes I knew were also studying to be nurses, and they just had this gung ho, "I'm gonna fucking handle it" approach to things, like, nothing phased these women, right?
No.
So, like,
I've
I think
literally held, like, guts in a patient, like, trying to get them back to the OR or holding, like, vomit buckets, and I'm like, "Oh, I haven't eaten today. Thanks for reminding me."
yes,
Like,
we're
nothing
ready.
phases a nurse, like,
No.
You're
nothing.
built to be pro doms. Whether you want to or not, you're built for
Oh, Tammy, do we have another
it.
session coming for us?
Maybe.
Oh, wait.
I love it.
So one of the things I do is I train
Will you
women who
train us?
I will train you. I train women who wanna be doms. That could be another episode. And I do have a
Episode
course
3.
yes, I do have a course if you go onto my website, amandadames.com, about tapping into your dom energy. So if your partner comes to you and says, "I want you to be more dominant," again, that one's a paid course. That one's not a freebie, but I created that because again, for clients, I have a lot of women come to me who wanna learn to be a dom, sometimes a pro dom, or just to help dominate their partner. And I'm like, "Let me just get them the foundational information through this course, and then they can come to me, and we can work together if they want more
Stupid
cameras."
question. Can you take a dom course just to, like, dominate in, like, the business world? I feel like you can use some of these skills in other disciplines, right? Not just the
Yes.
bedroom?
I don't talk about it a lot, but there are so many skills of just holding your power and how to
Oh,
create space and be dominant in a space. I always say that like I became a strong negotiator because of my work as a dominatrix. Not just actually the dominating, but like negotiating a scene with someone and what they want and in exchange for money. And so
Wow.
well,
yeah, I'm thinking
that's
this is a real life skill. We should
yeah. So
I'm thinking what you're thinking. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? We
oh my
need this.
fucking always.
it's there have been people too, especially as I like went through corporate America, where I just knew how to handle situations better because of my work as a dom and handling men in their 60s and knowing how they think in a very
Well,
intimate way.
that's what kinda
Yeah.
sparked that for me. I have been in the C-suite multiple times with all these men who are in their 60s, and it's like, I feel like those skills would have paid off because sometimes I did have to be, like, the dom in a boardroom, and I'm like, "No, we're not fucking doing that," or, I had to kind of flip the narrative and make them, I don't wanna say,
Yeah.
like, kneel to me, but, like, and they kinda liked it. Then I earned their respect, so then
They
I wanted
want
me more
someone.
of those meetings.
They
Yes.
want someone who
This
earns
is
their
very
respect.
fascinating. It's like a psychology thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of psychology stuff I learned as a dom that helped me in my career. But ultimately,
Love it.
I still missed it so much, like this type of
Cool.
work that I had to go back to it.
Good for you. Good for you for living your bliss, babe. Oh
I
my gosh.
really I feel I am. Like, it's such kismet to be on this podcast because I'm also feeling that in the year 2026. It's living my bliss.
Oh my god. Oh, I love that. Stephanie, do you want to ask?
Yeah, before I get to that, I do wanna say, I went through your Instagram with my husband. I kinda did my homework, and I was, like, going through I was showing him, like, all the amazing posts that you've had, and it opened up, like, a whole conversation for us. And, we are very compatible in the bedroom. I do believe in soulmates, but I do believe in sex mates. I think that you have to be very compatible in the bedroom to have a very successful marriage. That's my little side quest. But we went through your posts and it really sparked something in us just to like have that empowerment of talking about kinks. What were maybe some of his that I didn't know? What were some of mine? And it's like being married for almost 12 years, we're still learning stuff about each other. So you really helped us learn more. So I
Oh,
think every couple, every person should just go through. You can learn something about yourself, but you can learn something like in a couple. So just going through and scrolling, it was like the most fantastic homework. I loved it.
I'm
So
so
to
glad.
do that. Yeah.
Thank you. I love hearing things like that because sometimes you put out content and because you don't get to talk to people in real life about your content, they might say something I get a lot of DMs, and I'm so grateful for the DMs I get of people who say the exact same thing, but being face to face with someone and them telling me their real life experience is really special. So thank you.
Yeah. I learned some stuff. So yeah, apparently we both want to have sex outside.
Oh my
Is that the
gosh.
case?
Yes. Yes, it
The
is.
woods, like, outdoorsy, like, we've done it, but, like, that's super important to us. We love camping, and we wanna, like, just be out in nature and, like, experience that.
Oh, that's a super common one. And also there's there's a website called Make Love Not Porn, and it's about real couples who have sex, not in a truly it's not even just amateur, it's real couples. It's not anything manufactured. It's not like OnlyFans. And I had them on my podcast a few months ago, and one of the things about it, as I was doing my research, I watch a lot of spanking porn, so I don't watch normal porn, but I gravitated towards all of the outdoor sex because it was exciting to me that they were being risky. That,
It is risky, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm like, I've seen hundreds of people have sex in a bedroom. I've never seen it's like when do you
And
act
you're like it's like you're grounding, you're getting that
yeah,
nature experience, and yeah.
and it feels so natural.
Fresh
So
air.
Yes, it
yeah.
feels natural.
A little
So that's my
cold.
story about outdoor sex. It's like, yeah, I actually gravitate towards that porn, it turns out, when I do
I
watch.
love
That's so
that.
cool, we have a connection.
Yeah.
I love
We've
it.
had many connections.
So many
Yeah.
connections.
I love that.
Well, very cool. Well, we're just so thrilled and so happy that you came on our podcast, Bliss Babes. And we like to end every, session with the question, what does bliss mean to you?
Living my authentic life. Bliss for me is 100% authenticity.
I love that.
We're all for
One
it.
Yeah, and you know what? We should have sent you that question in advance, but I think that's the perfect answer. I love hearing
Mhm.
that's the authentic, genuine, honest answer.
Yeah, it's really authenticity is super important to me, and I think it's my North Star for everything I do because if I'm gonna be this open and about my life, I wanna be honest when I do it too, and not sugarcoat things. And
Yeah.
it's
Absolutely.
hard to be a social media I hate this word, I don't consider myself an influencer, but over time I realized people are coming to me for education, so I kind of am one. I don't wanna sugarcoat things and pretend it's all okay because it is hard at times, especially having these conversations. It's not easy, and I never wanna say, like, "I'm 100% sure I can help your spouse be into your kink," because I can't always. I do a lot, but, there's no guarantees. So I feel it's always helpful to explain, like, I've had relationships end because our kinks didn't match. It didn't end because I mentioned my kink, just because there was misalignment there. Like you said, Stephanie, sex mates. Like, it's important to find, for me especially, to find my kink mate. And that's why
Mhm.
I only date in a pool of people who share that.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I think that's empowering. Yes.
Mhm.
So I love that. Be authentic.
Wait, if I listen to other episodes, will I find out what your definitions of bliss are?
Maybe.
That's a great question. Mine's like yours. It's kind of like living authentically who I am, kind of shamelessly. And, like, fuck everybody, like, if I want my tits out today, they're out,
Yeah.
If I want to, like, say the word "fuck" or something, And if I, like just whatever it is about myself. I've spent a lot of my life, and my youth oppressing or suppressing, more of who I was than not, and it's been a really slow process in coming out of that oppression
Yeah.
and just kind of really kinda owning who I am. especially if you have like a bigger personality, you try and quiet yourselves because people don't like that. If you have this, we're just constantly checking ourselves so society like accepts us. And then one day it just occurred to me like that's stupid. I'm just gonna get divorced again and get my tits out and do whatever I want and get my boobs done and whatever it is, and it's all for me.
You have fantastic tits.
Thank you, girl.
Beautiful. They're
It's
beautiful.
like a shortcut, or it's like a shortcut through life is to live authentically. Cause then you
Yeah,
don't have to like worry about making a mistake. Just you make the mistakes you want to make, not the ones you make to make someone else happy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What about you, Stephanie Wine Gardener?
I think just, lining my soul, like, doing what my soul wants to do, helping people find their bliss while burning the patriarchy, and
Love it.
just letting us all be our truest selves with no judgment and
Mhm.
no yeah,
That's
or
important.
oppression, and just, like, can we all just be who we are and support each other
Yeah.
and
Do you
love
know what I've Yes, but do you know what I've been learning or like thinking about a lot lately? I love all of that. I am I think one of the least judgmental people I've ever met, but now I think it's especially in today's political climate, I do find myself judging other people and I like need to because it's socially acceptable for people on the left to judge those on the right and vice versa, people on the right to judge
Sure.
those on the left. And I'm
Yeah.
like, sorry, that just sparked it in me of like one of the things I'm trying to figure out is how to be truly non-judgmental and just lead with curiosity all the time.
Wow,
Why do we think
that's
that way?
Beautiful.
yeah, that's profound. Yeah, we would all benefit so much from that, and we lost that somewhere. We used to not talk about, and I think it's fine to talk about things in ways, but remember back in the day when nobody talked about politics,
Religion or politics?
yeah, whatever,
Yeah.
and their beliefs or
Yeah.
whatever. Although that was a little oppressive, but we didn't care, we didn't hold it against one another so freely, and that's a real shame going down that rabbit hole. Because I don't care about another person's sexuality, what they do for work, just being a good person and living authentically or happily and being nice to one another is kinda where it's at for me, so, yeah, that's however, I can get lost in the judgment of the world too, so
It's like a ledge I'm talking myself down from on a regular basis of like, okay, like, how do I lead with curiosity? Stephanie just sparked that when she said it about judgment. I was like, I know it's really hard to like live not being judged, live shamelessly, and then also allow others to live shamelessly when sometimes you're like, how the fuck are you this dumb? But like, this is what I'm talking about, talking myself off this ledge.
Yeah.
lead with curiosity, that's an interesting idea, I like that.
Yeah, those are my two. It's like lead with gratitude and curiosity. I
Mhm.
try and say thank you as often as possible because there's no harm in saying thank you.
Yeah. I always
Yeah.
say I appreciate you. Like,
Ooh,
I
I
say
just
that
said that today.
yeah,
Yeah.
I say it a lot. I don't know, I picked it up somewhere, and I said it to all my employees, I said it to the barista, the waitress, like, "I appreciate you." Because, like, you
Yeah.
don't hear that enough.
I don't think so. It's so true. Ooh, do you know what? Speaking of things with baristas, one day went to Starbucks to pick up a coffee and she said, "Here, boss." And I don't think women hear boss enough.
Ooh,
You know?
I
Like,
like that.
"Here,
Yes.
chief." I try and
Cheap.
say those things more now because these are
Oh,
traditionally words, like nouns, whatever. English is not my forte, associated with men. And like she said it to me, and I'm like, we need to be saying this more to other women.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
yes.
I
Yeah,
know. Okay,
yeah,
so this has just been like a little master class of like how we
yeah.
go out and live in the world.
You
Episode
know,
4.
Stephanie and I were on our last episode talking about how we are 7 days of saying no. And in that, when you tell somebody no, they're going to be a little butthurt, maybe. You need to accept their no and be okay with it, right? And then Stephanie, because you're going to want to say no sometime. But then we joked about how Stephanie and I, for over a decade, we leave each other on red all the time. Months go by and we don't reply. I mean, now we podcast together, so we talk more often, but over the last 10, 15 years, We'll read a text, never reply, 6 months go by, and we're never mad about it, ever.
We have to normalize just letting that happen. Do you know what I mean? But knowing
Mhm.
that if one of you needed the other, you'd pick up immediately.
Of
You know?
course. Yes.
Absolutely. I'd be the first one to grab a shovel and bury that body for her. Like, totally.
Yes. I
Yeah.
100%
Don't send that in
agree.
a text though.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll just
evident.
keep that on the DL. Yeah.
Come up with like a code emoji,
Yes. Not the gun
No.
emoji.
like a
What's
shovel.
our code emoji that you killed someone? Is it the peach?
No, we can't talk about it here.
Oh shit! Right? Yeah, not the peach.
Yeah, not the devil emoji, not the champagne glasses. We use that way too
I
much.
can use that too much. I'd be a lot faster.
That's so funny, but I love that. Yeah. Yeah, just giving everybody a little bit of grace. Take a breath.
Yeah, and live your truest, authentic self with no judgment. Listen to each other's kinks, but live by the golden rule. Like, I think everyone should treat others how they want to be treated. Like, we
Yeah.
teach this in kindergarten. Like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Everyone, treat someone how you want to be treated.
Wait, no. Treat others how they want to be treated, because how we want to be treated is different than how they might want to be treated. So that's the platinum rule. Thank you, Wall Street Journal
Oh,
customer service.
damn.
No, that is it. That's like called the platinum rule. Like I learned that in
I-
customer service, corporate America. Treat them how they want to be treated.
I love that.
I've never heard that.
Sorry, wait. And I just like knowed you, and I didn't mean to know you, but like there is a better way, because the way I want to be treated is so different, maybe from how you want to be treated. Like you like
It's true because Tammy likes compliments. I don't like compliments. I don't know.
Why?
That's
Oh, well, that's a
me.
deep thing. Why do you not like compliments?
Childhood trauma. It was beat out of me. I don't know.
Yeah, see, do you see what I mean? So this is like,
Yeah.
anyway, this is some of the work I do, and I can't turn it off. I'm like, talk to me about why you don't like
You're
compliments.
pulling it out of me. Every episode is a therapy session for me. Why?
I feel that too
The
on my own.
numerologist pulled it out of me too.
I need to speak to the numerologist.
I know.
She had my whole life in numbers.
Stephanie was like, I
I'm
feel
so
very
exposed.
vulnerable.
I was so fucking exposed. I was like, yes, she knows my soul.
I'm literally wondering if there's like numerology associated with kink. Like this is like the number one question I have to go ask her of
Ooh.
like, are there specific numbers in
I feel like we should
numerology
just
that are?
fucking call her right now. Just like put her on the phone.
I know,
Yep.
I feel like that. Okay.
How fun. Well, this was the most fun ever, for sure.
I had a great time. I'm literally
I'm
like
obsessed with this.
the way this. I love how I got on today when just from before we started recording. I was like, "Wait, how'd you find me?" Like I don't, not that, but I don't remember how we started talking. I feel like we've gone back and forth a little bit, and I'm like, I don't know how this ended up. It feels like kismet, you know?
It
Like
is.
on this call together.
Mhm.
I love that. It's
Great.
so perfect. And you were the perfect person to come on here because I also love that you left the job on Wall Street or corporate America because you realized after doing that and done something else that you had another bliss and also having left a relationship that you were engaged and realize that that wasn't your bliss. And that's where it's like it's okay. You have safe space. Do you need permission? You have permission. You may leave that job. Are you not happy? It's a great job. Whatever. And you're just the perfect person for this. And
Yeah.
kicking off 2026 with all the bliss babes and for people who just want to add, some tools to their relationship with themselves or with their partner. This is fantastic.
This was great. And also, I think as long as you're living authentically, no matter who you are, you're the perfect person to do that because no one else can live you authentically. So, like, I'm literally just this because I'm like, I can't pretend to not be kinky. I'm so passionate. I care so much. I can't keep that to myself.
That's
Well,
great.
and
Don't keep it to
thank
yourself.
you.
We all need this. We need you.
yes,
Yeah.
thank you for letting me come on the show and wax poetic about all the things I believe in and care about. And
Oh my
Tube
God.
Sock Guy, who I haven't talked about like ever.
He'll never hear it, but maybe he'll
Yeah,
get
no,
some advice. Ask earlier about the tube socks, or it's kind of weird. But
yeah, I asked early about the tube socks. Like, and also I was the crazy one in that relationship, not him. So like, cause I was in my 20s and like going through a lot of other stuff.
We've all been there.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it has to be really bad if you're the crazy one and he randomly pulled tube socks out during sex. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I love
that's
it.
just like love for tube sock guy out in the universe. I'm sorry.
Love it. I
Okay.
love it. It's a safe space for us all. We're all
Yeah.
on a
I
journey.
hope he found his tube sock partner. Like, I
I
hope
hope
so
so
too.
too. Like, I don't know
I really,
if
truly do.
I hope, yes, I hope he's out there having great tube sock sex.
Living his bliss.
Yes.
Definitely. We should all be living our bliss babes for sure.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for having me on. This was so fun.
Thank you for
Yes, thank
coming.
you for joining us. This was such a power episode. I feel so empowered. I have all this knowledge and I'm going to use it. I love it. Thank you.
Job done. Okay.
Yeah. Plenty of time to shop for Valentine's Day and download those questionnaires and have a little like drunk conversation with my husband for fun. And then maybe rent a dungeon. I hope that there's still time.
You got to do it.
Right.
Valentine's.
Book it ahead of time.
I love it. I can't wait till he hears about that. It's going to be so fun. So, all right. Well, Bliss Babes, we'll catch you next week for our Galentine's episode. Check us out on YouTube, the Bliss Babes, TikTok and Instagram. We are _bliss_babes. We have our website, findyourblissbabe.com. We'll have merch up soon. And then we have our awesome new friend here, _kink consultant on Instagram with a bunch of free resources for you and actual coaching if you want that. And a lot of people want that. So
A lot of
thank
people
you.
need that. So
Yeah.
it
So
was so nice to talk with you, Amanda.
Thanks.
Thank
It
you
was great
so
to chat
much.
with you guys.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
happy Valentine's Day.